The wrestling action continues between the United States and Cuba. Jason Knapp, happy to be joined by 2000 Olympic champion Rulon Gardner. Carolyn Mano with us as well. Hope you're enjoying the action here for this dual meet between the United States and Cuba. 6th straight year there's been a major international style wrestling event here in New York City. Brent Metcalf, Team USA, in men's freestyle action here, 65 kilograms, 143 pounds against Maren Castillo, the 2013 Pan American champion. Metcalf, 3-time world team member, just won his 2nd straight US Open title at Las Vegas. He's just been a rock-solid performer the last 2+ years now for Team USA.
And that's, coming through the college system and ultimately, stepping into the international, you have to find a place for yourself. And he slowly just kind of opened that doorway. And, just everybody talks and through the sport of wrestling, it's just, developing and building. Nothing was given to him. It just wasn't a skill that he was given to. He's had to develop into this international wrestler. And he's given himself an opportunity to potentially make the team next year and then, get on the podium. And that's everybody's, goal, is to get on that Olympic podium. And he's given himself that chance. And it's just every day, through the workout room at Iowa City and, University of Iowa, to international wrestling here in New York. It's, a process of building yourself to, be a champion.
And the 2-time NCAA champ for Iowa, the old Hawkeye, not able to get the takedown, will pick up the point for the push-out. So he strikes first here against Maren Castillo. And these two met at the World Cup of Wrestling. 7-2 win for Metcalf against his Cuban foe in LA back in April. Metcalf unbeaten at the World Cup, that team duel competition for some of the top countries in the world, the last 2 years when he's competed for Team America.
And that's, Maren, is one thing about him is he stays in good position, and it was smart. The one thing about that takedown, opportunity on the out of bounds, Metcalf had the chance to, get that second leg, but Maren knew where he's at, so he went out, give up 1 instead of 2, and came back and ultimately got a good double leg, got down position, and getting out points, kind of builds momentum. And you see one thing about Metcalf is he doesn't start and stop with his effort and his technique. He's just a gradual grind wrestler. He just continues to try to force his will upon his opponents. And one mistake made, and he makes a mistake, then he realizes, I'll never make it again, and I changed the way I wrestle. And that's now his opportunity, looking for a chance to for a throw. Couldn't get the throw, finishes it for a 2-point takedown. Just really smart wrestling.
Efficient work for Brent Metcalf. Let's see, do they award the takedown? Looks like they did there on the edge. So at this juncture, the 3-2 lead for Metcalf. Final stages of this first period.
A lot of good action, both wrestlers making efforts, making attempts, and, not just kind of sitting back and holding back, but, looking for, what I like to do and how I like to finish. And, you'll start to see that contrast and, two wrestlers really, picking each other apart and ultimately, looking for that victory. And that's where, Maren got an angle, got a position, and just is it powerful enough to change levels, change angles, and then now with basically Metcalf in a position, he goes for a high crotch, and then as you saw, he tried to set his hip up and actually do a throw for a high amplitude, but wasn't able to finish it. And he got the 2-point takedown, and now the lead.
And was able to finish it with control, so gets 2 for the takedown and seizes the lead back from his Cuban foe, the 28-year-old Metcalf. Again, 6-time junior national champion that's tied for the most at that youth level in American history, and continuing to make his mark, climbing the ranks at the senior level now for the United States. Flurry there, not able to gain leg control.
And building, a wrestler, and that's one of the things like the Russians have always done, is they've always been able just to, build guys from a young age to Olympic caliber guys at a young age. And Metcalf's just developed every day, day in and day out, and just continual pressure, and that pressure got him in position there to where he was overextended and ultimately got out of position. And Maren just took advantage of, the emphasis, and that's the one thing about it is you want to always try to stay in control of your body. And Maren, tried to pass it by there. Now with the 2-point takedown and then the 2-point gut wrench, just smart wrestling and chain wrestling is what a wrestler will do. And taking an opportunity, score 2 points plus another 2 since you're still in the same action.
Metcalf, certainly the aggressor throughout. The missed shot, his opponent capitalized, took the lead, but a pair of 2s, and Metcalf seizing control here. 7-4 the advantage, under 2 left to go here in this bout at 65 kilograms, 143 pounds.
Smart wrestling, collar tie, looking for a position, and you look at the wrestler kind of taking on basically, I guess, the mold of the coach, and that comes from, the Brands brothers style of wrestling, the University of Iowa, Dan Gable, and just the mentality of growing up through that system, and you develop your own skill in it, but then you ultimately, you have that little grind, that little bit of, chip on your shoulder. I'm going to really force my way upon you, and that's what, Metcalf is hoping to do here at the end.
On defense now, does get pushed out, so it's a single point for his foe. It's 7-5 with 67 ticks left to go in the period.
And one of the things you kind of break down into a match, you start looking at the other athletes' conditioning, and Metcalf, that pace of the match is one thing that really breaks a lot of foreign athletes. And Metcalf was probably expecting that Maren would go down and not be able to capitalize, but Maren came back and pushed him out, and just something you didn't expect. And I think Metcalf kind of got in the position there, but just continuing to put the pressure on with 35 seconds left. He's not backing up at all. Should be a 1 point for the push out, and this is solid, strong wrestling. It's not over aggressive, it's just solid, and that's the one thing that they want to really put out there is just, I'm going to beat you in the first second, I'm going to beat you in the last second. I want to be the best all-around wrestler here, and definitely Metcalf today has proved that. And the stars are the limit for him, and there's nothing he can't do as long as he just controls his destiny. And that's just every day building on himself and being a better wrestler.
Much like his rise at the international level, a good, consistent pace in this bout for Brent Metcalf, and it pays off with an 8-5 win here in Times Square. Two-time U.S. Open champ, looking to make his 4th world team later on this summer for Team USA. The Iowa Hawkeye, Brent Metcalf,